now. Sasuke versus Itachi. That happens a little bit later in this timeline for reasons. Christian says, great. I'm so happy, as he's sitting down in his chair at home. Oh yeah, Nina, what is his name again? Minami and Kinato were both promoted to Jonin. Christian's freaking Jonin as well. They're all Jonin. Sasuke would be heading out on a mission to go hunt down Itachi. When he'd do, Christian would watch from afar so nobody can get to Sasuke. Once the fight's over, he knows the fight's over, he says, "Wind style Rasen Shuriken!" and jumps up in the air and sees a masked man, about to grab Sasuke. He throws the Rasen Shuriken, but the body flickers down, flying rations down, and picks up Sasuke and jumps away. The Rasen Shuriken collides with the masked man, but he doesn't do anything because it phases right through him. Christian says, "Damn it!" as he teleports back to the Leaf and puts Sasuke into the hospital. Then he teleports back, getting ready to fight, saying, "I lay my weapons down." He said, when he appears, he says, "Ah, the fourth Hokage's son. I think it's time we have a match." Christian says, "Who are you and what did you want with Sasuke?" He says, "Oh, nothing. I just wanted his eyes." Christian looks to see Itachi to the left. He picks up Itachi going, "Damn it." As he pulls out a capsule and pulls out his eyes and puts it in there, then puts it in the capsules and puts Itachi's eyes in him for a quick sec. He says, as he puts his eyes in and then hides them into the capsule, then he says, "Looks like I'll have to fight with the Eternal Mangekyo, with the Mangekyo Sharingan." Christian goes, "Ah!" As he doesn't know how to use the Mangekyo abilities, but he can't use them at all because he just has to fight. Christian says, "Amaterasu!" His eye starts to bleed as he burns him. He goes, "Ugh!" Christian activates Sage Mode on top of that, and absolutely bodies the masked man, making him leave. Christian takes out those eyes and puts them. He goes to Sasuke, and he also takes the blood off his eyes as he puts his eyes back in, appearing back. Sasuke would have awakened his Mangekyo out of anger once the Leaf Village told him all about the truth about Itachi, once the fourth Hokage told him the real truth. Sasuke would be so pissed, but he wouldn't betray the Leaf. He'd still stay. With Christian finally getting back, saying that I'm leaving the Leaf Village for a couple of weeks. And he jumps off to go to the Hidden Cloud Village. When he does, he sees three people. He sees a lady in blonde hair, a red-haired lady, and a white-haired man. Christian says, "Who are you?" And Hidden Cloud Ninja in the Hidden Leaf, "What are you doing here?" he says. As Sasuke is walking behind him, Karen, okay, Karen, I'm gonna call her Karen. No, Karui goes and cuts Sasuke in the eye. He goes, "Oh, what the hell?" He says, "You attacked Lord Killer Bee and the Raikage." Christian says, "Sasuke's been in the hospital." He says, "Lies. Sasuke attacked the Raikage and Lord Killer Bee and almost stole Lord Killer Bee's tail beast." Christian punches Karui back, saying, "Sasuke didn't do such a thing." They have a brawl going, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." Christian throws Shuriken, and then he appears in front going, "Rasengan!" and absolutely obliterating her, knocking her back. He says, "Don't mess with the Leaf Village. I'm actually on my way to the cloud. And I'm leaving now." As he flying rations to the village gate, then he runs out going, he takes his ship to the Turtle Island, and makes it. Then he walks around, asking if anyone knows where Killer Bee is. And they see that Killer Bee is at the Waterfall of Truth. Christian looks around, and then finds Killer Bee saying, Oi, Killaby! He says, yo, fool, you fool! Who are you? Christian says, I'm Christian Uzumaki, the hero of the Hidden Leaf and the son of the 4th Hokage. Now I'd like to know how to control the Nine-Tails' power. He says, no, you fool! If you can beat me in a match, I'll teach ya! Christian says, alright, I'm ready. He activates his Ushio-gun and then appears right next to Killer Bee, kicking him, breaking Killer Bee's arm. He goes, ah! Then Christian kicks him in the face, knocking him out. He goes, Christian, then when he wakes up, he says, what happened, fool, you fool? Christian says, I won the match. And then teach me. He says, first you gotta accept your dark side. Christian meditates, and a couple of hours later, he finally accepts it, going, Then he says, it's time to go to the waterfall of truth. But then Christian realizes something. He goes to meditate again, and he sees his evil self, and smiles. It's like that he has an idea. He appears right next to the clone, absorbing its power, going, as he absorbs it and gets a giant power boost. He goes, oh, and just as chakra burst blasts back tons of trees. He goes, woohoo, this power's insane. He goes, fool, what did you do? He says, I absorbed my evil self. Now he's a part of me, and now I got a power boost. He goes, smart fool, you fool. Now let's go in. Then they head in, and then he gets ready. When it starts, it's him versus the QB. Christian opens the seal up, going, yeah. He says, now it's time to fight, QB. Then he says, Aura Sphere, and shoots at the QB. He hits its arm, but it barely does anything. Christian jumps up in the air, going, Rasengan! And tries to hit it, but it does nothing. Christian says... Then Christian taps into the hidden chakra that he has, going, ah! Kurama says, that power's insane. Christian blasts back Kurama with a Rasengan, going, ah! Then he says, I can use your power! And activates the QB eyes and Sage mode, so he's got QB Sage mode. He says, massive! He says, Sage Shard! Massive Rasengan Barrage! And they all hit Kurama over and over. He goes, Christian says, perfect. As he jumps up in the air, going, wind style! Rasen Shuriken! As he throws it, obliterating him. But then, he'd try and take its chakra, but then he'd be sent and try and be overcome by the Nine-Tails' hatred. Then he'd meet Kushina again. He says, Mom? She goes, hi, sweetie. Basically, I didn't die, but... I'm part of this psyche now, because the seal was part of my chakra. She tells him all about her past. And all that crap. He says, okay, she says. Then the Uzumaki chains come, and they're huge, weigh about 500 times bigger than Kushina's, which means one chain could wrap around the QB. He wraps it all around, going, wrapping it around. The QB goes, bro, let me go. Then he says, massive Rasengan Barrage, as all the other clones destroy Kurama as the chakra goes, as they pull it in. Christian gets KCM. Christian goes, awesome, and his Ushio gun is changed to yellow. He goes, yes, this is insane. Killer Bee says, fool, you fool, that was amazing. Then someone else comes. Kisame. From Samehara, Kisame appears. Christian instantly one-shots him with the Ushio gun power, along with KCM, kills him with one shot, going... Then he says, quickly, we have to go. As he says, I'm pretty sure there's a war going on. As he runs out and turns out a KCM, he runs going... But then Iruka stops and he says, Iruka-sensei? He goes, I'm sorry, Christian, but you can't go any further. Iruka says, you haven't done your mission. Christian neck chops Iruka and holding him, saying, I don't trust you. Then he activates KCM, blitzing through them all as he walks outside, going, what is with all this fighting? He says, Iruka-sensei, what is with this? He says, there's a war going on. Madara stopped this. Madara started it. Christian says, I'm going. He says, here, and hands him his headband. Christian goes, huh. Then when he's jumping, when he's not in KCM, he pulls up down his headband and sees that there's a note. He goes, choo, choo. As they're running, as Killer Bee and Christian are running, they encounter Tsunade and the Raikage. Christian says, the fourth Raikage. He says, fool, you fool, we gotta deal with them. Christian says, I'll fight the Raikage. Christian says, Rush and Flash, Super Circle Downtown Stage 3, and obliterates the Raikage with just that attack. In KCM, that's way faster than he could ever be. Christian smiles, saying, you're weak. Very weak. He smiles, going, you're too weak. Then they head off with Tsunade's permission and the Raikage's. Then they run off and encounter Madara. Christian says, and then they go to like their giant area. Christian says, Killer Bee, get ready. He goes, yeah, fool. But then, Madara is about to steal his thing. But then, Sasuke slices his mask, and Sakura punches. And Kakashi and Guy arrive as well. Christian says, Sasuke, Guy, Kakashi? He says, we're here, Christian. Christian says, let's go! Aura Sphere! Shooting it out, hitting the two tails. He's trying to defeat them, but it's too hard. As he's fighting Madara, he's about to crush his mask, but then Madara phases through. Then he returns to his psyche, and Christian says, Kurama! Please! Actually, he says, hey kid. Christian says, what, Nine Tails? He says, if I had to choose between you or Madara, I want to stay with you. So let's bond our chakra together. Christian says, another chakra tug of war? Hell no. He's about to return when Kurama yells, we don't have to do that anymore, you fool! Then they fist bump and Christian releases the shield and they go, let's go, Kurama! And transforms into KCM2. Then Christian with one shot says, Super Mini Tail Beast Bomb! And puts it right to Toby's stomach, then disappears behind him. And then it explodes. He goes, Argh! Then Christian warps Kakashi to another dimension like Obito did. Like he did in canon. Christian says, Kurama! Why the hell would you do that? He goes, so you have more free space. Christian says, Baka. Then he starts to fight Obito, but then he realizes, he starts to fight Toby, but then he realizes that his mask, then he keeps on getting cut. Then Christian is warped to the Kamui dimension by Kakashi, and then he says, Rasengan! And destroys the mask. Kakashi's like, Obito? Then Madara Uchiha would arrive. Christian would activate Biju mode. KCM2 again, and Sage mode, plus the Ushiogan, which makes him almost at 6 past Sage mode level. He catches Madara's fan, almost breaks it, and then punches him in the face, going, Then Madara would summon the Ten Tails. Christian would turn and go into his Kurama avatar, creating a giant Rasengan, absolutely obliterating him. Then he'd say, Allied Shinobi Forces Jutsu! Then all of the Allied Shinobi Force would come, and Kushina would say, Christian, I've also learned it. Going into KCM2, he says, you learned it too? She goes, yup. They go, yeah! Minato smiles, saying, my wife is much stronger than me now. I gotta be more careful. Christian says, let's go! Then they all rush at Madara. Christian's absolutely destroying Madara until Obito gets into Jubito. Oh yeah, Neji would still die. Christian would say, Neji! He says, you monster, you'll pay for that! You'll pay for that! As he appears in front of Madara, punching him so hard that it breaks his nose, even though Madara's nose is already flattened enough. He goes, ah! Wait, do our characters have noses? Yeah, of course they have noses. Q would jump in the air going, ah! Punching the Ten Tails over and over, but it wouldn't really do a lot. Then they do their three-way deadlock summoning. Blah, blah, blah. Christian would summon Gamakichi this time, and with them defeating, not really defeating, Christian and Sasuke would both do Inferno style, and Sasuke would also have Eternal Mangekyo, remember that. Christian would throw a giant demon with Shuriken, but cuts into the Ten Tail skin. Then blah blah blah. Let's just get into where Madara gets the 10 tails. Christian would start destroying him. I mean, barely actually. Then his tail beast would actually be distracted, so Christian would already be dead. Then Sasuke would be stabbed through the chest, which would make him die. Sakura is trying to heal Christian, along with the K-I-S-S-I-N-G scene. Not really like the thing to keep Naruto alive, but she does to him since he's the main character in the Steinman. He goes, and then finally they both meet the Sage of Six Paths. Hagoromo tells them blah 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 they're reincarnations, and then they'd get Six Path Sage mode and the Rinnegan. Christian said Madara is about to shoot a Biju bomb from like the 10 tails. Well, actually a giant attack that'll probably obliterate them all. Sakura says, I'll try and defend it. Earth-style mud wall! With the last of her chakra, creating a humongous earth wall while she passes out. Christian appears on top of it, and so does Sasuke. Christian says, Sasuke, let's go. Sasuke rushes at Madara, but then the attack is fired. Christian pulls out a flying Raijin kunai and absorbs the jutsu into the mud wall, going, He says, where did that bomb go? Then it detonates right on Madara, and Sasuke cuts Madara's arm off, going, Christian says, Sasuke, we have to keep on doing this. He throws a flying Raijin kunai and says, Magnet-style Rasengan! Obliterating him. Then he says, Lava-style Rasen Shuriken! Obliterating him again. Then they finally defeat him, but then he turns into Kaguya. Sakura is finally back up, and Christian heals Sakura up, and Kakashi, since he lost his Sharingan. When Kaguya gets revived, Kakashi would get his Sharingan, now that his double Sharingan. Sasuke would, of course, activate his Susanoo to block for them. Christian says, alright guys, how are we gonna deal with this? Sakura says, we could cover her in poisonous fog, and then one of us seals her up. Christian says, no, we're gonna need all of us. We'll use our clones to use poisonous fog, then we'll all seal her up. She says, you two have to do it since I don't know poisonous fog. They go, right. They all disappear. Then they get into the Kaguya in the final Kaguya dimension. Sakura and Sasuke go, poison style, toxic style, poisonous gas. And they block him. And they block Kaguya. She goes, but then, when she's all poisoned, Kakashi would cut her with the Kamui Lightning Blade. Christian would turn into his Kurama avatar and tail beast bomb her. He'd go, as she's almost defeated. Then, Christian and Sasuke would jump up, going for a 6-pass Almighty Scream. They say, 6-pass! Planetary devastation! Also with Sakura punching him down. Kakashi says, now I love you all. As they seal him up. Then they're done with it. Sasuke and Christian all have to do what Sasuke says, and blah blah blah, their goals are the same. Sasuke says that he wants to execute the 5 Kage. Christian tells him, no, you're not gonna do that, I won't let you. Sasuke knocks out Sakura and then runs away. Christian says, you're running from me? As he chases Sasuke down. Sasuke says that he never trusted the Leaf from the beginning. Christian tells him that he'll stop him and won't let him go. Sasuke says, yeah, right. Then when it starts at their battle, and Christian's in base form, and they're both, he goes, missing all of his hits, though. Christian would block with his shooting orbs until they're finally at their limits. They're both knocked out clean, but they only have a little bit of chakra left. Sasuke goes, Nandemo, 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 Nandemo. He says, I'll finish this now, and creates a lightning Chidori. Christian says, Kurama says, kid, I'll give you some chakra. Don't shoot your attack till the final second. Christian says, no, I will shoot it instantly. He says, kid. Christian says, as he goes out of his psyche, getting the chakra, and says, Shadow Clone Jutsu, and creates 2 Shadow Clones. They put their hands together, going, Christian creates like a weird green Rasengan. It's like all weird and flat and spirally. Christian says, he says, with the last bit of chakra, activating his Ushiogan in Sage mode. He goes, then he jumps up, going, ultimate supreme Rasengan! Kurama says, kid. The Rasengan starts to deplete, but then he uses Ushiogan to restore the chakra. He goes, ah! Then they clash. They go, ah! Kristen's Rasengan is winging with them. They do a giant clash and all that crap. They say, all of our battles. Then their arms get thing, and then Sakura would heal them both. Now for the last. That one I don't really care about. But here's the thing. I want to keep Boruto, and I don't really want to hook up Kinato with her. I'm going to say Kinato gets alone, but he's going to be happy alone. Christian would hook up with Hinata, since, well, we need Boruto, and he's still going to be called Boruto and Himawari. To still have a little bit more of an Uzumaki blood. Let's get on to the first episode of Boruto. Oh yeah, actually, you know what? Let's go to the Hokage inauguration. Christian's already up, writing down his stuff. Himawari walks in the room saying, Dad, get up! Christian says, I'm already up, Himawari, as he's writing. Then he closes his journal and puts it into his desk. Going, he cracks his neck and gets up saying, what? He says, Himawari says, dinner's ready, Daddy. Christian says, alright, Hima, I'll be out there. He gets out there and says, hi, honey, to Hinata. Because, well, look, Naruto doesn't exist. I'm stealing Hinata. Also, I still want Boruto. Oh yeah, Boruto would have a red streak in his head. A small, like, a little tint of red in his hair. From, like, Christian Uzumaki thing and how he has it. And Himawari would have a tiny bit of red in her, but it would barely show. Christian smiles, going, ah, what a happy day. As he sits down, Boruto says, isn't today the Hokage inauguration? Christian says, yep, kiddo. As he eats his breakfast, going, nice. Then he gets his stuff ready and puts on his outfit. Then he said, while he's putting on shoes, Boruto and Himawari are arguing. Christian says, guys, stop. We have to get going. Then they go, no, it's mine. But then Boruto would get blasted out of the room. Christian says, Boruto, are you alright? He goes, Dad, Himawari's gone crazy. She just snapped. Christian says, what'd you do? Boruto thinks, saying, I won't lose to you. And then his Jogan activates, but his Jogan awakens, and then he goes, creating two Wingo palms. They go, Christian gets a vein appears on his head as he activates QB eyes, scaring them both as he grabs both their fists, saying, no fighting. Then he looks at both of their eyes, saying, They stop, calm down. Christian neck chops them both and says, clone jutsu. Then he picks up Himawari and Boruto and takes them to the... I know, I'll be done in a sec. He takes Himawari and Boruto in and out. I'm kidding. He says, Hinata, can you pick up can you hold Himawari? Can you hold Boruto? I'm gonna hold Himawari. Actually, can you just hold both of them? Because I have to get up there. He appears, saying, I'm here, guys. Shikamaru says, Christian, you're ready. Christian says, yep. Boruto and Sardo would have a chat. Not really a good one. Christian thinks to himself, whatever, as he puts on his Hokage cape, saying, thank you everybody for coming. And blah blah blah. Let's go on to the first episode of Boruto. Christian is in the Hokage office doing his work, going... Christian thinks that this isn't even that hard. I don't know why Kashi and Lady Tsunade thought this was so hard. And Dad as well. This is literally so easy, as he's easily doing this rapidly. As he's doing it so fast, Boruto walks in saying, how are you doing that fast? Christian says, it's called skill, kiddo. As he puts the papers left and right as he's stepping them. He says, aren't you paying attention to those? Christian says, I'm very much taking attention to those. It just looks like I'm fast, and he shows him he's got his Ushiogan activated. He goes, that's why. As he keeps on spamming them, going... The speech is my recital. I think it's very vital to Dr. Raku. Oh yeah, and Kushina would give her 9 tails to him, so he'd have the full 9 tails and every other Tailbeast chakra. First would have all 5 nature elements. Then Boruto says, Mom's going in, we need someone to watch us. Mom said that she needs someone to watch us. Christian says, you guys can come in here if you want. I have a couple of I have a couple of games in here, you guys can play. They go, okay. He goes home and gets Himawari and brings her over. While he stamps, they're all asking him questions. He says, dang it, you guys are asking so much, but I don't care, because I'm doing it fast. As he's all finished, he says, once I finish my work, I'll help you guys. I'll play with you guys. Himawari goes, yay! Boruto thinks the stupid Hokage job. He never has time for his family. Christian says, I heard that, Boruto, and the Hokage job is important. If there wasn't a Hokage, then the whole Leaf Village would fall apart. You don't want that, do ya? He goes, no. He says, so respect the job of the Hokage. Because if you're ever right, you'll realize how hard it is and how much work you do for the Leaf Village. As he's doing all the work, he's finally finished. Then he touches his stomach and then pulls out a baby Kurama. Basically like he summoned it. And says, Kurama, I know you're a baby and all that crap. And he also summoned all 9 Tailbeasts as babies. As baby animals. He says, alright guys, go play. Can you go play with them? I have work to do. I have more work. Monotami says, sure. Then he says, alright guys, I have some friends for you. Boruto and Himawari say, cool. Then they all walk out. He says, these are the 9 Biju. Shikaku, Monotami, Isobu, Sengoku, Kokuo, Saiken, Chome, Gyuki, and Kurama. He says, alright, go play. I have to go do work. Boruto thinks, I'm gonna go do a prank on him by dumping paint on his head. Boruto says, Dad, I'm pretty sure Mom said to come at a certain time for you to come to give, because she wanted to give you your lunch. Christian says, why don't you go get it? I mean, that's what you usually do. Also, didn't you bring me my lunch? He goes, Christian says, you're not that smart for your age, you're not too smart. He says, look, can you just go out there? Someone's there. Someone wants you. Shikamaru says, Lord Seven, someone's out here for you. Christian says, alright, Shikamaru. As he walks out there, and it's Konohamaru requesting if he has any missions. Christian gives him a mission and says, go off. Boruto sets up the prank. All the Tailbeasts, Himawari, and Boruto are laughing when he gets in. Christian says, what are you guys laughing about? They say. Boruto says, oh, nothing. Christian says, by the tone of your voice, you must have done a prank. Christian's doing more. Then, paint dumps all over him and his work. Christian looks and goes, wow, guys, that's really funny. They say, Boruto goes, got you! Christian says, I don't care. It's your loss, not mine. Boruto says, what do you mean? He says, those were the files for the new Kagemasa game. And I had to accept it into the Leaf Village, but since you put paint all over it, I can't do it. Boruto goes, no! Himawari says, at least I didn't lose anything. Christian says, the teddy bear supply was also on that list. She goes, no! All the Tailbeasts are laughing so hard. Christian says, well, then he snaps his fingers and all it turns away. He says, you're lucky I can do this, and turns all the paint into confetti. And he starts to work, going, He says, don't do something again or else I won't turn it into confetti. Let's just go to the Chunin exams. Christian will be watching Boruto. And Christian talks to Sasuke, saying that he knows that Sasuke's training Boruto. And Sasuke says, yeah. Christian says that he's going to start training Boruto in a little bit. Sasuke says, sure, you should train him a little bit. You are his father. Christian says, and I also am the Hokage. Then Momoshiki would attack. Christian would jump down, saying, get behind me now. Also, Boruto would have cheated. Christian would have yelled, would have scolded him. And Boruto would just complain how he wasn't a good dad. Christian apologizes for not being a good dad, but that doesn't mean he should have cheated. Then he yells back, well, you shouldn't have missed Hima's birthday. Christian looks down, saying, I know, and I'm sorry, Boruto, but my Hokage job is important. He says, more important than family? Then Momoshiki and Kinshiki come, he says. Christian pushes Boruto behind him, saying, get behind me. As he pulls out a flying rising kunai, Minato starts escorting people instantly, getting people out of there, along with Kushina and everyone else. Christian smiles, going, You're good. Then he activates 6 Past Sage Mode, saying, Sasuke! He goes, yeah. With Boruto and Sarada there, Sasuke creates a Susanoo, and Christian also goes into Kurama avatar, going, ah! And tries to hold it off, but then he smiles at Boruto as he sacrifices himself for the entire village. Boruto goes, Dad! But then after that, Boruto would run away, throwing away his scientific ninja tool. Then Sasuke would have his talk, blah blah blah. He would also go to the hospital. As Christian's getting his tail beast absorbed from him, Christian says, you do realize, he says, so, how's life? Momoshiki goes, shut up, mortal. Christian says, I'm just asking God, how's life? He says, Kinshiki, do you mind shutting him up? Kinshiki doesn't answer. He looks around and sees that there's just a black orb next to him. He says, where's Kinshiki? Christian says, he'll be where you'll be. As he traps him in a truth-seeking orb. As he's trying to break himself free, but he's got not enough energy, Momoshiki just breaks out of the truth-seeking orb, and Christian returns them to him. And Christian goes, and he punches him, Christian in the gut, knocking him out. Christian goes, Poof. Then Sasuke, Boruto, and the 5 Kage would arrive. And Boruto and other crap would cut it down. Christian would say, Sasuke! He'd go, yep, yeah. Sasuke takes off his cloak, and Christian activates 6 Past Sage Mode, also with his true seeking orbs next to him. He says, Yurize, Sasuke! He goes, as they rush at him, going, they're laying so many blows on him. Christian says, Wind Star, send Shuriken! Oh yeah, Christian didn't get that Naruto haircut. He stuck with his hair. He throws it down, and it collides with them, going, Christian would throw more shuriken at him, actually more chakra shuriken, going as he throws more flurries of punches until he summons his giant rock monkey. Christian activates the Kurama avatar, hitting him, but it wouldn't do anything because he'd just catch it. Then he'd slam him down, and Sasuke would activate his Susanoo to help out. They'd have Kurama Susanoo. Kurasuno. Then they'd absolutely destroy the rock monster, and then they'd fight again, going Boruto would do his epic moment with his giant Rasengan. Christian would say, Sasuke! He goes, right! Christian says, Aura Sphere! And yeets that Aura Sphere. It goes, clap, and claps on his face. As they finally defeat him, Boruto would of course have the Karma Seal. Christian says, Naruto, I wish you were here. Then he says, Naruto, I hope you're watching. Then the ghost of Naruto says, of course, I'm always watching, brother. But Christian can't hear this. Smiling, saying that he wants to get Naruto back. He's gonna do everything in his power to get Naruto back. When Boruto killed Momoshiki, Christian absorbed the chakra back and ate it himself, giving himself his chakra back. Then when they get back, Christian and all the Leaf Village is rebuilt. Christian leaves the village out of nowhere, leaving a shadow clone in the village. As he walks out of the village, thinking of a plan. he heads to a base. He walks in saying, Orochimaru? He says, he says, 7th Hokage, what brings you here? Christian says, reanimation jutsu, please. He brings in Naruto's older body now, since he's much older. He brings Naruto's young body, his baby body, and, a sacrifice that he used to have. He didn't kill anybody, it was just one of his captured bandits that died from a sickness. So he gives it to Orochimaru, asking if he can reanimate Naruto, and Orochimaru says yes, he'll be in his adult form. When he does this, he's all reborn and all that crap. And he's in an adult form wearing the clothes and everything like he wore. Christian says, rebirth. Then he goes to find Nagato's Rinnegan, and it creates another Shadow Clone. That Shadow Clone does Rinne Rebirth, which Christian wouldn't die, the Shadow Clone just poof. Naruto's right back to life. Christian smiles, stealing half the Nine Tails and half the tail beast chakra inside of Naruto. Smiling, saying this is just a gift from him. And to not worry. He's the Hokage now and he wants you to live home. Then he walks. Then they walk away. Heading home, Christian thanks Orochimaru and handing him some Rio. Then when Christian gets to the Namikaze household, he says, Mom, Dad, look who I brought. He says, they yell, Naruto! Christian says, yep. He says, this better not be another illusion. Christian says, try it. She says, release! And high-fives Naruto. Naruto doesn't poof. He says, this is the real Naruto. Blah, blah, blah. And that's it for this, since I have to get off.